Shack Together 55, TJ Denzer joins us to talk all about Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition and how he found his time with it. We've also got John's take on Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is finally here after much wait. All of that before a fun game entitled Operation Siege or Sham. And then it's on the story time. We have countless previews for you. I will not mention them now, but if you care to listen, there's quite a few courtesy GDC and the staff attendees there. Reviews, Assassin's Creed Shadows, of course, Xenoblade Chronicles X, of course, as well as FragPunk and Atelier Yumia. We've got news on Seattle and Nintendo partnering up, the Game Developers' Choice Awards, why Atlus games are so tough, the latest from Nightdive Studios, and Silent Hill F. Then there's industry news from Taco Bell and NVIDIA, General Motors and NVIDIA, a massive Tesla hardware recall, a newly formed workers' union for game developers, and much more. We've got a great show in store for you. Thank you for being here. Without any further ado, here we go.
I think Shack News should adopt Japanese public holidays. Let me just read you a list of these holidays.
Okay.
January 1st, of course, they get New Year's off, Japanese New Year. But January 13th, just 12 days later, they have another day off. It's called Coming of Age Day.
Okay.
But wait, there's more. February 11th, National Foundation Day. That celebrates like the actual formation of Japan. So that's kind of like Independence Day. I get that one. The 24th of February, though, the Emperor's birthday. I don't know which emperor, but the Emperor's birthday. They get to take that day off. I think that's also Steve Jobs' birthday, oddly enough. And then why this came to mind is it's spring now, guys, right? They get Vernal Equinox Day off. So they got March 20th off, which is awesome.
Wow.
Also the anniversary of Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing New Horizons release. But then the month after, April 29th, they have Showa Day. May 3rd, they have Constitution Memorial Day. May 5th, just 2 days later, guys, Children's Day. The next day, Greenery Day. You're talking about 3 days off in like a 1 week period. And then in July, they have Marine Day on the 21st. They have Mountain Day on August 11th. They have Mountain Day. Who doesn't want to have a Mountain Day? And then this might be the best one. Respect for the Aged Day is September 15th this year.
But this is the thing. It's a double-edged sword because that day you respect your elders. Every other day, you just mash them into the ground. Okay,
but you respect the mountain on Mountain Day. You respect children on Children's Day. You respect greenery on Greenery Day.
But then all the other days, you're really screwing them.
8 days later, Autumnal Equinox Day. You get both equinoxes off. Come on.
Wow.
Why aren't we celebrating our calendar more in America?
Wait. So let me pause you. Are these are days off? Like if I have a desk job at Tech Corp.
These are off? National holidays. Everyone in Japan has these
Mountain
days
Day?
Even Tech Corp celebrates
Nintendo,
Mountain Day.
Wow.
Every school, every restaurant, like these are days off. And some restaurants will stay open because obviously people want to get food on Respect for the Aged Day.
Sure.
But wait, October 13th, kind of in the heart of football season. It's Sports Day. Who wouldn't want a sports day?
And when is that? October
13th, John.
That's NBA, man. That's like right around the NBA tip-off.
Yeah, NBA's tipping off. Baseball's in the big...
Yeah, you're in the throes of baseball. Yeah.
And then just the next month, November 3rd, Culture Day.
Nice.
And then I think this might be TJ's favorite. We were going over this. I actually proposed this to the staff last night. Labor Thanksgiving Day. They have mashed up Labor Day and Thanksgiving Day into one day.
Absolutely my favorite.
Wow.
So Labor Thanksgiving Day is the November 24th this year.
I like that one economical holiday situation. They're like, we have too many. Let's do twofer.
John, Asif hasn't yet gotten to President's Easter yet, so.
That's true.
I was thinking to myself, man, I like Thanksgiving feasts, and I love Labor Day and furniture sales. Is there a holiday that can give me both?
Anyway, does it sound great?
It does.
What are we doing? So,
I don't know.
My proposal...
Do you really want to start? What are we doing? We don't know.
I'm just saying, like, let's. I'm not talking to. When I say we, I don't mean the country. I mean Shack News. Like,
yeah,
should we just? We could take our American holidays and these new Japanese holidays and kind of mash them up. I think, and we might be happier because, like, look
Make
at
it
the
happen.
At the very least, you need to do Labor Thanksgiving, I think.
Yeah.
Labor Thanksgiving Day. I'm feeling the autumnal equinox, man. I felt jealous yesterday because, you know, I own Nintendo stocks. I was looking up the Japanese stock quote, and I'm like, wait a second. This is like last night. I'm like, why aren't they trading today? So I Googled Japanese national holidays, and I'm like, my God, it's the vernal equinox day.
Damn.
Cool.
Donovan made a crack that most of the Shack staff should be celebrating respect for the aged day.
Ouch.
That jerk. Here's the question, though. Why no love for the solstice? Kind of
In America?
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm saying in Japan, they have these equinox days, but there's no summer solstice or winter solstice day. Found that kind of weird.
They had to stop somewhere.
They ran out. The holiday budget ran out. So
They were in between Greenery Day and Marine Day, and they're like, look, we can't have people taking another day in June off. The economy can't handle this.
well, I'll tell you what, guys. I say move over British people who I thought wore this, had this title belt of incessant days off. But
I mean, they're right there. They are right there. Queen's Day, Prince Day, King Day, the whole thing. Yeah.
It feels like these monarchies
Neck
or
and neck.
former monarchies or former empires, they seem to have better holidays than America. It's probably because we're still in our empire crumbling phase. Like, once we get past that, maybe we'll have, I don't know, AI Day and Robot Day.
Robot
Respect
Day.
for the aged Robot Day. It's Shack Together in America on the internet. If this is your first time joining us, Shack Together is a Shack News video game podcast featuring myself, your host, Asif Khan, co-host John Benjamin,
Hello.
our producer, Joe Stasio,
hi.
and senior news editor, TJ Denzer's here.
Hey, hey.
Hey, TJ. Thanks for joining us here in the Shack News Extended Podcast universe, or the CPU, as the kids are still calling it on our ticker. Right, Joe? They're still on the ticker.
I'm absolutely covered in dot matrix paper, and yes.
We must be the leading consumer of dot matrix. Those those perforated pages that used to go on dot matrix printers. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah.
You guys remember, like, if you lined it up wrong by like one notch, like how bad things would go.
Yes.
Those were
The sound those things make is like imprinted in somewhere in the back of my mind where it just lurks forever.
There are musicians out there, TJ, who have like recreated songs just with dot matrix printer sounds. And I've seen that with hard drive sounds too. It's funny, like, we've really moved away from moving parts in our consumer electronics and PCs, but like there was something charming about like hearing your like the disc in your GameCube spin up or down, or like the sound of a modem connecting over dial-up. Like, these are all
the
relics
sound
of
a
the
PS4 playing Last of Us 2.
Yeah. the sound of the lawnmower turning on when I played Red Dead on my PS4. Red Dead 2. Yeah. All sorts of stuff like that. But yeah, I feel like we went from a noisier era to a quieter era, like the PC speaker era. Maybe we'll go back to that. Like, once we have all these weird single-purpose robots in our homes, they'll have their own language or something.
Yeah,
But yeah.
you don't get Nine Inch Nails Reptile in this era of solid state drives.
Yeah, you don't. Anyway, it's a video game podcast. We talk about video games and other stuff that happens in the world, but we always start the show by asking our guests what you've been playing lately. So, TJ, what have you been playing lately?
I'm going to start with Deadlock. Deadlock Around the Clock. That
Nice.
game has its hooks in me bad. And like, for those who don't know, I've talked about it on the podcast before, but it's Valve's MOBA, which is like League of Legends or Dota. It's a third-person shooter style, though. And so kind of more like Smite or
Well, you can't say it's Valve's MOBA because Dota 2 is MOBA.
That's true.
It's another.
So it's their second MOBA.
Yeah.
But it's their Paragon.
Yeah, it's a different genre entirely than Dota.
Yeah.
But no, I just wanted to clarify for the folks at home that yes, if you're shouting at us that Dota 2 is a MOBA, you're right. But yeah, Deadlock is cool, man. Who are you maining?
I'm maining Shiv.
Okay.
The character is like he's like an assassin gangster with a straight up Elvis pompadour.
Yeah.
And he carries his jacket over his shoulder and he has a shotgun. But like the big thing is that he throws knives. He has like he starts with like 2 knives and then he can get up to 5 knives that he can throw and then they go on cooldown. And every time he hits a knife, he does like straight up damage and then damage over time for a few seconds.
Yeah.
And then if he hits another knife, it stacks that damage over time.
Oh.
So you hit someone with like 4 knives in short order, they're taking like 50 damage per second while trying to run away from you. And then his ultimate ability is he will jump to a character and slash them, and if they're under a certain amount of HP, they'll die instantly. And then at the top of his game, like he can make it so that his ultimate can be used again if he kills an opponent with it. So the idea is like you play at range with the knives and like chip damage over them over time, and then get in close and just finish them off and start chaining your ults between the opponents.
So, are you playing this by yourself? Like, are you just solo queuing into Deadlock?
I am solo queuing. I've had a few colleagues that told me that they were playing after I ran a stream on the game a couple times, and I've had a couple colleagues tell me since then that they want to play with me. Okay. But for the most part, I've been queuing solo.
So I asked that because some of these MOBAs, it's almost impossible to play it like that. So what do you think it makes Deadlock unique in that respect? Like, is there the in-game chat, or like, how have you been able to enjoy yourself in that scenario? Because like, I've found that doing that in like Dota or League or something can be a recipe for disaster.
I generally turn chat off because I don't like talking to other people in these games.
Sure.
It's generally speaking, 99% of the time they don't have anything that I want to hear.
Yeah. But like, when you were describing how you play with Shiv, I was like, that seems like the kind of player or the kind of character where if I was able to communicate, with my teammates, they could like set up someone to die. I could come in with my ultimate and then I get that double ultimate.
Yes.
So it seems like some of the strategy would it seems like this would be like a game that really is enhanced when you are playing with the team. That's what I was getting.
It is, and they have in-game chat, like text chat, but they also have a built-in in-game voice chat.
Yeah, it's
and
like
you can
proximity
turn,
based, right?
No, it's team-based.
Oh, okay.
So I can and the best parts about that is that you can either completely mute your teammates' audio volume, or you can just turn it down. So it's kind of like, sometimes I want to hear what they're saying, sometimes I don't, but when I do want to hear what they're saying, I'll put it at like low volume, so like if I feel like listening to what they're chatting about, I can hear it, and it's just kind of a whisper in my ear.
So it's kind of like TF2 style.
Mm-hmm. And you can straight up just like open up the team menu and mute anyone you feel like muting at any given time. So I really like that. It's super easy to do that.
Yeah.
But like it's kind of hard to play solo because and they used to have it set up with the map where it was 4 lanes and you would have 2 lanes with 2 people. It's 6v6, so you'd have 2 lanes with 2 players going against 2 other players, and then you'd have 2 lanes that were solo lanes. But they got rid of the 4th lane, and now it's 3 duo lanes. Oh. I don't actually like that change. Yeah. I like solo laning with Shiv, and the other problem with that is that it means that you have to rely on other teammates to do their job. I can I've had plenty of games where I can carry the heck out of it the way I play, but I've also had plenty of games where just like it feels like I'm playing a 1v2 lane, and it is not fun when you have someone who, sorry to say, just doesn't pick up their part of the slack.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's what I was mentioning. It's like why I didn't really play a whole lot of Overwatch, and very little Overwatch 2. But I like I like being able to just solo queue in a multiplayer game and have fun. So
Yeah.
I hope they bring back the 4 lanes, or at least do something to make solo players more relevant. That's interesting though. But on stream, mentioning your stream last week, didn't you have a match that lasted 66 minutes?
Yes, that's the longest I've ever had of a Deadlock match last. It was the last game of the stream, and it just was a stalemate for so much of the last 30 minutes. Like, we would get kills on them. They would get kills on us. People would wait to spawn. It would happen again. Nobody could get anything done. Like,
Joe, are you interested in this game? I know, like, you've played other MOBAs, but more traditional clicky ones. But what do you think of Deadlock?
I think it does sound cool. TJ is describing a type of obsession that I worry about. Like I don't know that there's like an in-between with these kind of games. Like TJ, it sounds like you're getting high off of that, like, I'm dominating feeling. I've felt that before, and it's either like you are intoxicated or you're not. Like, I've never been like, yeah, League's pretty fun. Like, League is cocaine, or you're in like a sober, era with it. So that's how I feel about it.
there is that feeling, but like, I think the thing that makes it than League of Legends or Pokemon, I think it was Pokemon Unite.
Yeah.
I think that what feels better to me than either of those games ever did is that I grew up on old school shooters. I like a good shooter. I like good shooting, and Valve knows how to do good shooting.
Yep.
And so, as much as like the skills are still such a big factor, we're like thinking about your cooldowns and how much damage you're doing on those. If you like hitting your shots and making sure your bullets count is just as important, and that's what I like about like the skill layout in it. Where like it feels like it's challenging my mind from a strategic standpoint, but it also feels like it's challenging my twitchy reflexes.
And this game's still very early in I don't know if it's early access or alpha right now, but like we're gonna watch like Valve cook with this for a while. Like these are still early days. Form. Yeah, like it seems like they're experimenting with gameplay, but like they could bring back the 4 lanes as a mode, right? Like it's already there. Yeah, it's gonna be a game that, like when they announced it, I was like, we have to cover this intensely here at Shack News because it's just kind of in our wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested in it too. I enjoy watching it more than playing it, but I think if I got like together with friends and had a team, I probably would enjoy it more.
I'm gonna stream it more because like it's the exact same. I'm playing it off the clock plenty anyways. Like I might as well show it off where I can. It's a fun game.
Nice. So what else?
Before we move on, I think we'll get this comment inevitably. So I'll just say it here. 66-minute match. Sounds like you guys were deadlocked.
Buzzing.
Good dad joke.
Thanks.
Well done. So TJ, what else have you been playing? Any giant RPGs?
Yes. So I reviewed Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition for Shack News. The
final Nintendo Switch release from Nintendo.
Yes. So this one is like a black sheep of the Xenoblade franchise. Like everybody should be well aware of Xenoblade Chronicles at this point because those games have been around for a few years now, and 2 and 3 have been on the Switch at this point.
Yes.
And they also did a remaster of the first one, I do believe.
Yes. I think there's 5 Xenoblade games on Switch. And
so Xenoblade Chronicles X had this like it came out on the Wii U, which should almost be enough said right there. It's the game in the series that not a lot of people have familiarity with. But those who did know that it's probably one of the best of the bunch. It's a massively open world RPG in which you basically what happens is on Earth a couple of alien races get into a huge war right on the patio of the planet and blow up the Earth in the process. And the nations that the Earth's superpowers launch arcs in every direction with humans from their nations on them, trying to basically preserve the human race by any means necessary. And the story follows the United States arc, which gets chased by one of the alien races and shot down onto a planet known as Mira, which is just teeming with angry wildlife. And they just have to do what they can to pick up the pieces of their ship, form a settlement, and you end up being like a character that was on that ship and lands on the planet. So everybody gets together, and their whole purpose is to just chart out this planet, figure out what it's about, defeat hostile monsters that are too close to the human settlement and cause threats, deal with these aliens that chased them, and chart out, like, figure out what they need to survive. To that end, it's one of the most interesting progression systems I've ever seen in an RPG. You do level up by, like, fighting monsters and stuff, but the way you progress the story is literally by exploring the planet and, like, setting probes that, like, chart out resources on it. And the more you do that, the more you unlock, like, new characters, new gear, new resources that you can use. And eventually you unlock, like, the chapter stories that let you move the narrative forward. But in the process of that, like, to that end, like, fighting monsters is, like, secondary in this game, and actually ill-advised in most cases. Yeah. Because you're allowed to walk around anywhere you want, but there are also, like, monsters with levels over their head, and you're sitting there at, like, a level 2 at the very first hours of the game, and you're looking around, and there's monsters that are sitting at, like, level 25, level 30, level 43. Yep. And they range from, like, small little pigs and bugs to colossal, like, building-sized dinosaurs that will just crush you if you engage them. And thankfully, not every creature that you come across is aggro. Like, they'll have a marker next to them if they are aggro to you by sight, or they'll have another marker if they are aggro to you by sound, like you walking too close to them. But if they don't have that, then you can wander around them and just kind of, like, mind your own business as you're doing your stuff.
It kind of reminds me of Breath of the Wild in that sense, because, like, early in Breath of the Wild, it's the legend of getting the hell out of Dodge. It's not the Legend of Zelda. Like, you're just running away from shit because you only have 3 hearts and you don't have enough stamina, and you basically have a stick to throw at them. There are so many similarities between this game specifically and the engine that they built this game on and Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, in my opinion. Like, Monolith Soft is, I really think, underappreciated in our industry for, like, their artistry, but also just the tech, like, what they're able to do with lesser hardware. I just think is really impressive.
It really is, because, like, you wander through this world, it's massive. The biomes, there's like 6 different biomes that you go through in this game. And every one of them is vastly different from each other. The creatures that inhabit them are vastly different from each other. And there are, like, no load times outside of just starting up the game. It's impressive how much they show you without having to load anything in that world.
And once again, that's a lot like Hyrule in both of the latest Zelda games.
Yeah, and your comparison to, like, the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom games were very apt to me, because, like, for those who know Xenoblade, there's a certain point at which you get yourself a mech. It's called a Skell in this game. But, like, up until that point, you're walking around this whole world on foot, and it takes until, like, dozens of hours into the game to get that mech. And when you finally do, not only do you earn it through, like, a couple of pretty lengthy quests, but once you do get yourself on the mech, get your hands on a mech, everything changes. And a lot of opportunities open up that you didn't have before, like a certain part in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, like, you're right. Like, we're not spoiling Tears here, but, like, yeah, there's a moment in Tears where you get something similar and you're like, oh, well, this changes everything. Even, like, if you, for instance, if you didn't like the depths, right? I think after that moment, the depths become easier to navigate, right? And I think that's true in this game too, where when you get the Skell, it's like, oh, I can actually fight this monster now. Or I can actually traverse this level or this area, this biome in a faster pace. I remember in your review that you didn't note that the time it takes you to get to the Skell is a bit frustrating. You said it was like 12 or 15 hours into the game or something.
It's not until like chapter 6, and there's a lot of game to get through before you get there.
And yeah, it was, in my case, I think I had been playing Tears for like 80 hours before I got to that moment. And I think in Tears, I think a lot of people just gave up on the game before they got there. And it's unfortunate because it really does open the world up, and it just becomes, it's just fun. And I think that's also true with the Skell and Xenoblade.
Yeah. And to a certain extent, I think that like the progression to get to the Skell is still not dreary. Like wandering around on foot is not a detriment. It's just that you realize how dangerous everything is when you're on foot. And so you have a real grasp of that by the time you get a Skell. But like you still have you're still able to fight on foot, and you're still able to travel pretty well on foot. And there's actually a pretty decent class system in the game with a lot of different abilities for like every character. And most of the characters you collect are locked into their class, so you don't get to change those, but your character can do any class. So you kind of get to change between them as you see fit. Or you just get to specialize. You can just specialize however you want, and then fill out your squad with classes that you don't cover. And so, like, it's a great game. And also, like, I've always loved the soundtracks in the Xenoblade series, and quite frankly, Xenosaga and Xenogears as well. Xenogears has one of the best soundtracks of all time. I love Xenoblade Chronicles X's soundtrack. It's so damn good.
Yeah, I saw Kit Ellis over from the Kit and Krista podcast. He posted a video yesterday or the day before, and he was like, what is Nintendo doing right now? Like, why isn't the Xenoblade Chronicles X soundtrack on Nintendo Music? Like that.
No kidding. Oh my goodness.
Perfect way to promote this game. It's like, hey, check out this awesome soundtrack, you know? But like, I feel like they're doing this in a way where they want you to play their game to hear the music. So I think they have I agree with what Kit's saying. Like, it seems like an obvious way to promote a game is like, hey, the game's coming out, here's the soundtrack on Nintendo Music. But I still think somewhere in Nintendo, they're like, no, we want them to play the game to experience the music. But, you know, in the interim, it opened the door for us to post a bunch of songs.
I was going to say, I have a second theory. Nintendo is putting this on Nintendo Music specifically so y'all can go over to shacknews.com or Shack News.
Yeah,
and see all the overworld tracks that we put together in different videos.
And the thing I thought was interesting, I've been looking at some of the comments, which I don't recommend in general, but I was looking at the comments to our Xenoblade gameplay that we posted, and even though you're just standing still, it allows people to look at just how beautiful the game is. And those different biomes, like the diversity of biomes and the diversity of sounds and songs that they use. I think this is like, you're like, yeah, it was hidden on the Wii U, but it was a gem. It was like a hidden gem on the Wii U. And it was like this little kernel of like, hey, there's still great, like, yeah, there were only 13 million Wii U's shipped, or 13.5 million. But like, some of these games still sold millions of copies just because they were excellent. And this is one of those. I just think Monolith Soft deserves more flowers for this generation. Like, you look at what they worked on. They were a part of so many important games that released on the Switch, and it's cool to see them get to like end the generation with this. But did you hear the news? Some data miners found a 60 FPS mode in the code. TJ,
this game is absolutely built to be enhanced on Switch 2.
Right? It's like day one. It's gonna have a performance mode that runs at 60 FPS. Joe's gonna be happy.
Yes.
I look. Do all that in tears. Like, please, for the love of God, give us a 60 FPS update for Tears of the Kingdom. And I will keep playing that game forever. I really do think there's similarities between these two games. Obviously, Xenoblade being more of an RPG, but it has action RPG gameplay mechanics. I think the characters are pretty funny in it too.
And to their credit, like, the UI sucked in the Wii U version. It was complicated and annoying to get through. It didn't convey information very well. It's much better in this version. Like, the battle system is much better. The mechanics, such as like when your teammates will call out things they want you to do, it makes much more sense. It's easier to read and easier to react to. Just a lot of cleanup and QOL here that makes a lot of sense and is much appreciated. And so
you gave this game a 9 out of 10, right?
Yep, 9 out of 10. And I took the few things that I took off was, like you said, it was frustrating to see how much time it took to get to the skill. But it's also like, once you get there, it's such a great moment. But also, one of the worst inventory systems I've ever seen.
Which is another thing it shares with the Zelda games. But I don't think it's specific to Zelda. Is the inventory screen in Starfield easy to manage? Stardew Valley? There's so many games that, but specifically these 3 Nintendo games where it's like they have not figured out inventory screens.
Yeah. Their organization on equipment is so bad. Every single time I unlocked a new tier of equipment, I dreaded it because it meant I had to go back to the shop and I needed to equip 5 pieces of armor on each character and check to make sure they're better, and check their weapons to make sure they're better, and check. And every character has a short range weapon and a long range weapon. Man,
I felt the same way in Metaphor, though. Metaphor and Fantasia.
There's no sorting of gear in that game's menus, so you're just looking at this giant list of stuff and trying to sort out exactly what the.
So that's actually worse than Zelda. At least you can sort in Zelda, even though the sort function, I don't know if it works, but at least you can. That was one of the things I was kind of disappointed in Echoes of Wisdom with, was they literally just stuck with the same inventory screen. And that whole, I guess going back to the Wii U point that you made, that whole inventory management was built with the gamepad in mind, right? There was going to be this second screen that you were going to be managing your inventory on. And when they brought it over to the other console, the Switch or whatever, they kept that without the 2 screen setup. So just, I don't know. If there's one thing I want them to innovate in, between now and the next Zelda, it would be how you manage inventory. But I don't know the answer because it seems to be a genre specific issue. And you see Square deal with it one way, you'll see Bandai Namco or From handle it a different way, and then Nintendo, even within their own games, handles it differently. I think it's funny. Monolith Soft also worked on New Horizons, so it's which is another inventory management hell game. So I don't know. We're onto something here, though. Yeah. But yeah. Anything else you want to let the folks at home know if they're on the fence about buying this for Nintendo Switch?
If you want to get our sci-fi RPG and one of the best that this particular series has to offer, without any of the baggage of having to know anything about any other games, you can jump into this one fresh as a newborn baby and be completely fine to play through it. You don't need any prior knowledge, and it's a fantastic game. Go check it out.
Nice. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that covers it as far as... Wait, am I forgetting anything?
No, but I'll bring up a game that you've been playing in my section.
Okay.
So John, you had mentioned before we started recording that you wanted to talk about Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. I believe you have reached your definitive...
I have reached my conclusion. Yeah. Okay. And the conclusion of the game, I ended up platinuming. Is that how you say it? Platinuming?
Sure.
Is that fair?
I call it 100%ing, but yes.
100%ing. So I 100%ed the trophies and all that. I went through the whole game, the story and everything. So I was thinking about this today, just knowing that we were going to do the podcast. I won't go into super detail, but I've been enjoying the series so far, just like a dragon and things like that. Infinite Wealth, I thought was pretty awesome. I thought it should have been considered for Game of the Year. I think it came out earlier in the year, so I think it's easy to overlook that kind of game. Yeah. So I get that, but I thought that was pretty awesome. The some of the characters and some of the stories I thought were just really cool. This one was good, right? I liked it, and I liked it more than I thought. But after completing everything, I still liked it. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10 if we're doing scores or whatever. I think mainly because Goro Majima, as far as the main character, it is kind of a cop out to do the whole amnesia thing. and to carry it on. And I don't want to be like too spoilery, but you know, it kind of felt like you were like they could have had anybody. You know, it could have been any character, right? So why are you taking what seems to be a fan favorite? I'm not necessarily partial to the guy. I think, you know, but I get it. And why are you kind of just pressing reset? You know, there's no real connection to like past, you know, I mean, there's little things, very, very little things though, that connect you to earlier in the series. So it could have been anybody. It could have been, you know, Bob Maluga is the protagonist. It could have been anybody. And I thought that was kind of a misstep. It felt narratively at the end of it, I was hoping for like a bit more of a redemption arc, a bit more of a heartstrings being pulled, that kind of thing. I thought they really could have done that with this character. And suffice to say, it's worth, I think, a play or a playthrough. I liked it. You know, I liked it enough to platinum. To 100% it, but it was more side quest, side story than I thought, and I'm hoping that this doesn't indicate. Like, I get that, you know, in the Yakuza series, you're coming out with one a year. It seems right. You're coming out with one a year, one every 18 months, something like that. And you really are, you know. And I think, Joe, when you turned me on to the series, I think one of the things that was really interesting was when you mentioned it's kind of the same map and it evolves over time, right? So you have Kamurocho and not in this game, but you have, you know, Honolulu and different little new areas and things. And that's kind of cool. But I felt like I hope that they're not getting too lazy with a narrative, right? This felt lazier than I was expecting from a narrative perspective. Because if the maps
whole amnesia thing is, it's a very soap opera style story or plot,
very soapy. And you know what, I don't like look down on soap operas necessarily. Like, I don't watch them, but I know what you mean. It's like, it is very kind of, it could be hacky. I think it did turn out to be a little bit hackier than I thought, because if you're going to be soap opera-y, then go with the schmaltz, like go full in, you know, go be corny. And I think that's where, you know, Yakuza has some really interesting moments. It's ridiculous, but then there's some seriousness to it. There's some heartfelt moments coupled with just insane moments. And that's really kind of the genius of what I think that, you know, it seems like the series is about. And here it just felt they kind of phoned it in. And I liked it, but it's a 7 out of 10 if we're gonna, you know, drill something down. And
I think that's pretty
worth a shot if you like the series. You know,
it's pretty in line with your review, right, TJ? So like, kind of.
Yeah, I ended up on an 8, and I agree with a lot of the stuff John's talking about. I like Goro Majima. He's a really funny character, and I think his personality carries a lot of that game. But you're right, it doesn't have, I feel like, the emotional oomph of something like a story that Kiryu or
especially coming right after Infinite Wealth. Like, that's, I think, part of it, John, where it's like,
it's part of it, but that's fair. But then you think about like Gaiden, right? And that was the one in between Like a Dragon and right before Infinite Wealth, right? And that to me was being billed as sort of a side questy thing. Even I think the price tag was a bit cheaper. I only say the price tag thing because it's an indication of the developer's intent. I think like it, but that still had like a narrative heft to it. That I was expecting this one, which is, I think, billed. I don't think they're billing it as a side story. I mean, they're not billing it as like, the price definitely reflects that as well, I think. I think this is meant to be a main game, like a big entry. Like, it's not a small entry. And I was just expecting a bit more. That said, I liked it. I think Majima is like a really interesting character. My wife, we were lucky enough to get into a couple of new cars, and it allows you to name the car because we're corny people. And so I named her car Goro Majima, and she seems to not really appreciate the humor, but forevermore, her car is now Garamanjima. I love the character. I mean, I like the character. I just was hoping for more to it. That's all.
I like that.
So that's it. Yeah. Mine
Burrow
is, of course,
Majima's
Ichiban
car.
Kasuga. So
nice. So what's the next game?
For me,
I know your next game. You're on Assassin's Creed now, right?
I'm on Shadows. I'm about I mean, I had a little bit of sick time, so I have about probably 10 hours in on that game right now.
Gorgeous game.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Like stunning.
I'll say Ghost of Tsushima, I think, has prettier, but it feels shallower, like visually. Like Ghost of Tsushima is a gorgeous, gorgeous game, right? Yeah. And you have to make the comparison. I mean, you can't. But it feels like Assassin's Creed Shadows it just feels deeper, richer. I mean, you are walking through the fishing village. It's just a moment where you're like, this is a world that feels alive. Now, unfortunately, I think maybe the gameplay doesn't, it's not like a Red Dead, Red Dead to me is the epitome of, immersion, right? It just feels like you can talk to the NPCs, you can interact with them in ways that feel consequential. If you screw something up or whatever, you're going to have a consequence there. You don't really see that here.
Yeah.
But I would say very pretty Rockstar, game, and yeah.
Rockstar games in general, but like specifically RDR2, it is the most detailed, immersive open world ever made. And
unbelievable.
I think that's the bar. But like for an Assassin's Creed game, and no offense to the past titles or anything or the devs, but this is insanely polished.
No, beautifully polished. And I'll say that the weather system, and I'm talking about audiovisual again, and maybe some of the gameplay elements when the seasons change and things. It's super immersive. I mean, really gorgeous, beautiful. Like, even if you're not going to play it, enjoy something on YouTube, like something like a 4K capture or something of, the thunder and the lightning hitting the sea and whatever. And I don't see that normally in games that well done, as well done. Okay. And again, I go back to Red Dead Redemption 2, and probably the first one to me that did it in an impactful way was Red Dead Redemption, the first one, right? When you're starting to, you're on a horse, you're entering the desert, it's open, but you start to see lightning in the distance, right? And eventually it comes to you, and so Shadows definitely plays that immersive angle really well. The fact that we're talking so much about the visual, it does speak a little bit to the gameplay, but I am pretty early on. I actually quite like the main character. I know there are two main characters. I've been playing because early in the game, I think you're just playing with the one character. I forget her name.
Oh no, the Shinobi.
The Shinobi, and it's very stealthy. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to remember her name too.
Naue, yeah. And I think it's pretty. I think she's really interesting. I think it's a very cool story. It does harken back to these, some of these old samurai films that it almost made me want to rewatch some movies literally last night. I was like, oh, I got to put this on. Even like a Kill Bill Volume 2, right? Hattori Hanzo. Sure. The fact that he's a character in the thing.
He's in this?
Yeah. Hattori Hanzo is in it.
Nice.
So, pretty interesting game. I think I just got to play it some more, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I have a key, so I'm going to be trying it out on. What are you playing it on? I'm going to be playing it on PlayStation.
I'm on PS5 Pro.
Okay.
It's I will say one thing. You're asking me what I'm playing it on. This is where PC is going to win forever, right? Because PS5 Pro, and I still have the three options: quality, performance, or balanced. And I got to wait for the Digital Foundry scoop. I'm like,
oh, I'm sure.
Tell me what I should play it on. I thought Mark Cerny. What the heck happened, PlayStation? I thought the whole point of having a Pro model was you don't have to give anybody a choice. You're able to do 60 frames at a really high quality setting with ray tracing and all that stuff. And I think that's just not in the cards here. So I'm playing on balanced, which is a lot of the effects, the hair effects are actually very noticeable, like really cool. The resolution's fine. I mean, can you really tell? But the frame rate's like 40 frames. And you know what? It's weird. Maybe I'm just super picky. I do notice it. I do notice it is still a little like choppy, whereas Tsushima, I think, is at 60 frames. If I'm not mistaken, I think there's 120 frame mode, but maybe I'm wrong there. I think it's definitely 60 frames. And that smoothness and that fidelity, it's just, Tsushima has the leg up, even though it's a 2-year-old. I think the remastered version is like 2 years old, right?
And that first party studio, so maybe they have Mark Cerny over their shoulder helping them, and Ubisoft is like, we have to have this work on everything.
Yeah, exactly. But like, again, the Assassin's Creed Shadows, it does feel richer, deeper. I just wish, like, from a hardware perspective. So I think you're going to have a blast because you're playing it on the platform that. Oh no, I'm playing
on PS5. My PC.
Oh, you are. Oh, right.
I'm on the struggle bus when it comes to my PC, man. Like the computer I'm talking to you on right now has like a 1080 Ti in it, and then my best PC at the office, and the stream PC here has a 2080 Ti. So like, I'm not able to play games on high settings anymore.
Asif, why don't you just upgrade the GPU?
Oh no, we're dovetailing into Joe's struggle.
What Joe has
the weekly update of the
2 weeks in a row. If we want to talk an hour about PC parts.
When you do get your PC sorted, Joe, I will say this is one absolutely gorgeous tech demo.
I'm watching.
This is going to be like
more than that.
89, I would say 99% sure this will be on sale for Black Friday on Steam, and you're going to be able to get it for like less than $30.
No offense,
offense to the Ubisoft team or anything. It's just without fail, this game goes on sale every Black Friday, and at least they have like 6 months before then. But it sold very well. It sold 1 million units already.
No, but Assassin's Creed should, and I think they have this Animus hub now, which is pretty shoehorned in there, and Animus hub is kind of like, it just is a promo. It's a launcher, right? So it's a launcher, and but you see Origins and Valhalla and I forget some of the other ones with like the character there and a little summary, and you could launch the game from there. This Shadows, it feels great, but seeing the Animus hub reminded me there's a whole modern element to this series that I remember back in part 2, which the Ezio days, and everybody talks about Ezio for a reason. It did hint at like a much deeper, richer story apart from just that time setting, that time frame, that setting. And I think maybe it goes back to that. I'm sure I'm only 10 hours in. I think it's a 40-hour game. But it doesn't seem to give really any indication that part of the narrative that felt so rich and novel 15, 20 years ago is coming back. And I think that's Ubisoft kind of missing the boat. But again, it's I'm 1/4 in. It's an interesting story. The character is carrying a lot of water here. Like, she's pretty cool. I just hope that they can balance. I don't know. It's too early to tell. But I'm enjoying my time.
Nice. Ubisoft stock was up 4% today. So maybe they're not dead.
I wish that they didn't have so much baggage. I wish that games weren't. For whatever reason, my algorithm, it's not crappy. It's just like, I watched the Digital Foundry thing, which I think they do an excellent job. They always do an excellent job there, and they did the comparison of the consoles and PC, and then they did the PS5 versus PS5 Pro thing the day after. That was yesterday, and super interesting. But then I start getting Assassin's Creed Shadows videos, and how divisive is this? Can we just not fucking do the whole politics thing all the goddamn time? And I think Assassin's Creed, and if it's Ubisoft and the business hinges on it, and the studio is this, and it's woke or not woke or whatever. I don't know. I feel like Assassin's Creed Shadows is the victim of just the goddamn, navel-gazing pontification that's kind of ruined a lot of gaming. If it just stood on its own, I think this is a solid game that people should experience, because it's an Assassin's Creed game. That's cool.
Regarding the keyboard warriors that you're talking about, is that we keep seeing this now. Yes, they're loud. Yes, they're angry. Yes, they have people who follow them on Twitter and subscribe to them on YouTube and, on Twitch or whatever. They have an audience. It's nothing compared to the size of the actual broader gaming audience. It's a rounding error. These people think that they're bigger than they are. And the algorithms like outrage content, right? Because outrage content leads to engagement, and that's why it's showing up in your feed, right?
Yeah.
So yes, these content creators can say, go woke, go broke, go woke, go broke, but it sold a fucking million units in a day.
An afternoon.
No one who bought that game at launch was like, gee, I need to watch James Jaboofer's video on if women should be protagonists in video games in 2025. Who gives a fuck? Of course they should. Anyone can be a protagonist in a video game ever, let alone now. But when I see someone make that argument on the internet, I just mute, block, and move on.
Well, you mute it. And what I'll say is the thing that stinks, though, is I was seeing, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. And, I just said, Pirate Yakuza 7, it could be a 5 or a 10 to some people. I get that. But I was seeing some pretty middle of the road, Game Ranks, is a pretty middle of the road. I don't think they're very political. Jake Baldino over there, I don't think it's super political. But he was not recommending people, play this. And it didn't have to do with politics as much as it just seemed this is not the Assassin's Creed of old. And it's kind of the criticism that I'm leveling. It would be nice to see that, old school Assassin's Creed, come back here and there. That said, I think the political stuff, it gets in the way of proper criticism.
Yeah.
And Ubisoft is never it's just, nobody's gonna learn a goddamn thing. Consumers will not get a better product because of this, or because of ignoring valid criticism. It
reminds me, and I'm on the side of someone who shits on Madden most years, but it reminds me of Madden. I can give you a reasonable critique of why I don't like Madden in a given year, and it'll still sell $1 billion. You know what I mean? It doesn't,
right? Yeah.
I hate, and I don't mean to say this we don't matter, but man, the noise on the internet in general does not matter to the average consumer of games. There's a hyper-focused gamer who tweets 1,000 times a day. That matters to them, for sure.
Yeah.
But a lot of these people are I'm not going to buy this. I'm not going to... You know what? You can't even afford it. Yeah. You're not buying it because you can't even afford it. You're not buying it because it's woke. You're buying... the actual people who are making purchasing decisions are not oh, gee, there's a female protagonist. How many moms buy games for their kids? How many girls play games now? Or women? Yeah, sure. You know what I mean? It's just such a nonsense argument. And I don't know.
It just ruins what could be a very solid experience. I'm enjoying it. I just feel let
people enjoy things that they enjoy.
Let people enjoy things. I don't know. It's
let people enjoy what they enjoy. There's no reason to have these why do you have to have an opinion on every single every game?
Right.
Has to have a foreign policy initiative. Where do they where does Ubisoft stand on Israel? Where does Ubisoft stand on Russia and Ukraine? Who gives a fuck? Is the game good?
And that's the thing that drives that. You guys are right. That's the thing that drives me the craziest about that conversation, is that there are numerous legitimate reasons to criticize Ubisoft. It's a terribly run company that has put out some legitimately terrible games.
Yeah,
and those are worth criticism. There are probably parts of Assassin's Creed Shadows that are well worth legitimate criticism.
Yeah,
the things that people have screamed about on Twitter are not those things.
No,
yeah.
Twitter's becoming it's relevant to a certain person, but man, is it becoming less relevant to people who care about facts and information. And it's this opinion content that, rage farming opinion content that usually occurs before a game's launch, and then these guys all go dead silent once the sales numbers come out, or they say, oh, it could have done better. It's like, who gives a fuck? You guys are just repeatedly wrong about everything. Shut the fuck up. No one cares what you think, except for your little bubble. And everyone has their own little bubble, and they think that that's the whole world, but it's not. It's not. And good on Ubisoft, man. Good on Ubisoft for taking the time to polish this game, because it shows. It does show.
The polish definitely shows. I'm hoping the narrative, and that's the thing, like criticizing the narrative for narrative reasons and not being misconstrued as like, it's almost the other way. It's like, I don't want to be misconstrued as like, this is because the protagonists are, I think woman and there's a black character later on. I mean, early on you see just a little bit. Yasuke, and
he's the samurai, and that's actually historically accurate. Like,
no, historically accurate's fine. Like, I'm cool with that. I just hope the story's all right. So
no, but to your point, and to yours and TJ's point, I can't remember which Far Cry it was, but their whole ad campaign was like this anti-MAGA. I don't know. You remember that one? Like, it was like, it was 5. On a farm or something.
Oh, yeah, 5.
The whole marketing campaign was like, man, this is anti-establishment and this. Then you play the game, and it doesn't have any of that. That's the problem I've had with Ubisoft. It's like, they market themselves as wokes at times, and then they're not. They take it super, super cautiously. Like, they never really go too edgy with their stories. And I think that's more present in the Far Cry series than it is in Assassin's Creed. But to your point, like, I think that there are valid criticisms for Ubisoft, and that those get drowned out by this noise. But the average consumer, boy, howdy do they not fucking care. Is the game good or not?
Right.
that's what matters.
It's the brother-in-law test for me. I was like, are you interested in this Assassin's Creed? He's like, Assassin's Creed, anytime there's a new one, I got to give it a go, Yeah.
And
it's like, I mean, that's the test. It's the unsexy Walmart or Target consumer that people don't think about so much. And I think, they play Madden. They buy Madden. They want to know Assassin's Creed. They don't give a shit about the politics of it. So anyway, gorgeous game. I want to give it some more time. I am going to give it more time.
Nice. So you'll be giving us more updates about this.
I will.
John's going to play through the game and give it its due time before he gives you your opinion.
Yeah, that's it.
Like what you did with Pirate Yakuza. So people, stay tuned.
Yeah.
You're going to hear John's full
all over
opinion
the place. You're going to hear my opinion. Damn it.
Yeah. At least it's not,
Joe.
Oh, I don't like female protagonists. Like, okay, cool story, bro.
Right. Yeah.
Joe, you're not even on the what you've been playing lately list. So,
yeah,
I'm not playing anything.
I haven't played a game since I wrapped Mother 3. I got distracted with PC parts shopping, and then distraction turned into discouragement, and I've got nothing.
All right, man.
Okay,
you're discouraged. That sucks.
It's getting worse, man. Like the availability of parts, the whole thing it's getting worse. Which is frustrating because I know how excited you were going into this year. And I was too.
Stoked. Thanks.
I was too, man. I'm always excited when people are building PCs. It's an exciting time, and I was thinking about it too. But man, not right now. Maybe if AMD ships like a better GPU down the road here, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I've been playing video games. Joe, you want me to talk about what I've been playing?
Let me think. How do I say this? Asif, what have you been playing?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. So you guys know I like racing games, right?
Yes.
So I played this racing game you may have heard of. Wreckfest 2. I got you. I got all of you. You all got there. You all thought it was F-Zero 9. No, I played Wreckfest 2. It just launched in early access today. We're recording this on the 20th. The vernal equinox day in Japan. But yeah, the game is out in early access on Steam. It is very much a sequel to Wreckfest. The most important thing, I think, for Shackers is that this game does support dedicated servers on PC still. That's huge. That means that you can get together with 24 people in a race, and that's fun.
Wow.
The demolition derby mechanics are still there. This is very bare bones. It's like the early access release happened today, so there's like a couple of things you can do. But if you paid attention to the original game, they supported this with tons of content, and they also enabled their fans to kind of support it with mods and levels and stuff, packs and texture packs. So everything that made Wreckfest 1 good appears to still be present in Wreckfest 2. That's very important. And the racing still feels really good. It's a fun racing game with, destructible environments in your vehicle itself. It shows a lot of wear and tear. They did not add horns to the game, so you can't honk your horn. As a lot of people were hoping for that. But yeah, I only got to race a couple of times. I mentioned I was playing on my 1080 Ti, so I had to run it on like low or medium to get it to run at a good frame rate, but it does. The original runs on Switch, so it's not like it's scalable. I won't say it is a processor hog, but there's ways to like lower the settings to get it to run pretty well. So yeah, I'm enjoying what I have tried in Wreckfest. And then yeah, I played this other racing game, F-Zero 99.
Oh my god.
I know. And guess what? I won again.
Nice.
10th race.
How many is that now?
10. I've won 10 times.
Amazing.
Cakes.
I know, right? So now my goal is to go to 99. I want to win 99 times before this game gets taken off of the eShop or whatever. But yeah, it was on Mirror Red Canyon 1. I had this flawless race. Like, I was really on fire. You know, the funnel at the beginning of the F-Zero race? I got out of the funnel in like 3rd place, which is rare for me because, I'm the Fire Stingray. It has the worst acceleration in the game. But yeah, I started in 3rd. By the end of the first lap, I was in 1st, 2nd lap 1st, 3rd lap 1st, 4th lap. It's like I've been talking about, guys. I ran into a stupid drone car. It bumped me into the wall. I hit a red car. So I've decelerated from my top speed down to like 350 kilometers an hour. And I'm entering like the last 3 turns of the race. By the 4th lap in F-Zero 99, if you're in 1st place, there is a wall of red cars in front of you, all that are trying to blow you up. So I must have been coasting on my first 3 laps, right? Like, I was like 5 seconds ahead of 2nd place going into the 4th lap, and boy, did I need all 5 seconds to finish 1st. If you watch the clip, I die as I cross the finish line. Like, my car is mid-explosion as I cross the finish line. Because I crash into 2 red cars right as I crossed. But yeah, I was able to manage it. So these last 2 wins have been kind of unique for me. This is the issue I was talking about, where crash into a car, use my boost at the wrong time, and then I'm just managing my way to the end. And then that last one where I came from behind on the last turn and knocked them into a red car. Yeah, it's been great. And then, yeah, like, I'm also just placing really well. That same night, I placed 2nd twice and 3rd once. So, like, I'm racing really well. When I'm in that S10 rank, I do very well. When I bump up to 11, I start getting my ass kicked. And then, but yeah, it was fun. So that's 10. Congrats. And we still have, we're still 22 days, I think, away from F-Zero victory and F-Zero 99 day at Shack News. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe I can get a few more before then.
There's talk of the Japanese government adopting that as a... Yeah.
I mean...
Another holiday.
Yeah, respect for F-Zero 99 day. Yeah. And then, yeah, I've been playing Retro Slam Tennis still. I won my first Grand Slam. I believe it was in France or England. I think I won 2, because one was in France and it was on clay, and one was in England. They don't call it Wimbledon, but it's basically Wimbledon. They just say Grand Slam. So yeah, I won. I'm currently ranked number 1 in the game, not in real life, just number 1 in my game. Mm-hmm. So I am the number 1 player in the world for the first time. And I'm starting to slow down on it a little. Like, it's still good. It's still my go-to mobile game, but I'm not playing it as much as I was. mainly because I've just been busy editing videos all week.
Have we looked up if it is possible to die, or are we just relying on you?
We're relying on you to do the research, essentially. So, yeah, I've been playing Bubbletron pretty much every day. I think if we look at my streak currently, I have played Bubbletron 400. I want to say it's 432 or 430. Sorry, 433 consecutive days. And I've achieved the lowest valuation, 413 consecutive days. So we've had some
the lowest valuation.
Yeah, that's the poop emoji track. So like you can get the top hat. The top hat is for when you hit the high valuation. So yesterday or 2 days ago, the high valuation of Bubbletron was a brain-computer interface poutine for moms venture, which was valued at $45.981 trillion. And then the lowest valuation of that day was injectable advertising for men, which was valued at $497,800. So yeah, each day I go for the high, I go for the low. I'm better at hitting the low val than I am the high valuation. And I try not to, I created the game, so I try not to play it until the end of the day, giving people an opportunity to get the high score. But if by the end of the day you're not atop the leaderboard, I'm coming for you. So yeah, Bubbletron, still fun, still free to play. Recommend it. Injectable advertising for men, like that sounds like it sounds silly, but then you're like, you know what?
No, I've seen that. We've heard too many. I saw Jeep has pop-up ads now. Like Jeep, the car, has pop-up
car
ads.
As a service.
That's car insane to me.
Right. Only $80,000 for a car as a service.
Nice and safe.
Yep. But yeah, that'll do it for the games I've already played. But I think, Joe, you have a game for us, right?
Ooh. I do. Let's not waste any more time.
Yeah.
And
how dare you say that me talking about Retro Slam Tennis was a waste of time?
I was talking about me with my...
No, I was talking about the preamble to playing. Let's not waste any more time on preamble.
We're doing it.
We'll be right back.
We just did.
We're wasting more time.
I'm reacting to the attack I just received. Folks, Rainbow Six Siege X is upon us.
Nice.
And it's a game I've never played. I've always looked at fondly from afar. And, it turns out that if you have played this, and the more you've played that game, the better you'll do in the upcoming challenge. We're about to play Operation Siege or Sham. There are only 2 possible responses from you, the player, in Operation Siege or Sham. I will present you with an operation, which is what Rainbow Six calls its DLC or seasons or whatever they call their content, seasonal content. Mm-hmm. I will give you the name of one, and you will reply with Siege or Sham, and we will go around. The horn here. You do not have to buzz in, so it'll just simply be your turn, and you will say Siege or Sham.
Cool.
The player with the most correct answers at the bottom of this table I've constructed will be our victor. Any questions?
No, seems straightforward.
Let's see it. Let's do it.
Asif, you're up first.
Oh boy.
Operation Black Ice.
Sham.
Incorrect.
That's going to be rough. It's going to be real rough.
That feels like just a coin toss.
I'm just going to throw it out there, guys. I report on this game. I probably captured the trailer for that. I don't remember. There's like a billion of these.
There are quite a few. TJ, you're up next. Everyone. TJ, you're up next with Operation Gothic Envy.
I'm going to go with Sham on that one.
That is correct. John.
Gothic Envy.
Operation Dust Line.
Dust Line?
Yes.
Or Lime?
Line with an N.
I will say that is a siege.
That is correct. Asif. Operation Skull Rain.
Skull Rain? God.
Skull Rain?
Horrific.
Scam.
Incorrect. And the correct terminology is sham.
Incorrect because you said scam.
Wait.
No, I'm just kidding.
Wait.
I'm not marking you on semantics. I'm just saying for next time.
Did I get it right? Is it not Siege?
No, it is. That is a real operation from
Jesus Christ. I'm going to get my ass handed to me this game.
TJ.
Can't even get the answer right. And then anyway.
TJ. Operation Goliath Online.
I'm going to say Siege.
Incorrect. That is a pull quote from the original StarCraft. John. Operation Red Crow.
That's Siege.
That is correct. Asif. Operation Cobra King.
I'm gonna say Siege.
Incorrect. TJ. Operation Velvet Shell.
Siege.
Correct.
Yay.
John. Operation Vanguard Onslaught.
Whoa. See, you want me to say Siege, but that is a sham.
Correct.
Impressive.
Asif. Operation Blood Orchid.
Siege.
Correct.
I actually knew that one.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
TJ.
Good.
Operation Health.
Damn.
Incorrect. That's real.
No.
John.
Operation Health?
Yeah.
God.
Operation White Noise.
I'm laughing because it could be either, man. These are ridiculous names.
Operation White Noise?
Yes.
That's tough. I'm going to say damn.
Incorrect. Asif.
Oh!
Operation
in the game?
Yep. Operation Chimera.
Siege.
Oh.
Correct. TJ. Operation Parabellum.
Oh.
I'm
John Wick movie.
I'm gonna say Sham.
Incorrect.
No.
Wow.
John. Operation Dual Break.
How are you spelling break?
Correctly.
There's two spellings of the word break, too.
It's correctly. Worst spelling bee ever. Like, give me a hint. Give me something.
BREAK.
There you go.
Damn. Louise. BREAK. Like break.
Like breaking something.
Dual break?
Operation Dual Break.
Siege.
Incorrect. Asif.
Oh, God.
Operation Wind Bastion.
Wind with a D?
Yep.
Siege.
Correct. TJ.
Nice.
Operation Frostbite's Haze.
Okay, no.
Damn.
Correct. John. Operation Burnt Horizon.
Ooh. Oh, man. That is Siege.
That is correct. Asif. Operation Shadow Legacy.
That seems fake. Sham.
Incorrect.
Of course.
TJ. Operation Neon Dawn.
Siege.
Correct. John. Operation Crimson Vortex.
That sounds jammy.
Can't tell if
Sham.
it's okay.
Sorry, sham.
Correct. It is a sham. Asif. Operation Crimson Heist.
Ooh.
Did you just say Crimson Vortex was fake?
Yes.
So now Crimson Heist is what you just said?
Yes.
Heist. I'm going to say Siege.
That is correct. TJ. Operation North Star.
Damn.
Incorrect. John. Operation Crystal Guard.
Oh, that is Siege. One of the better ones.
It's one of the better ones. Correct. Asif. Operation High Caliber.
Siege.
Correct. TJ. Operation Dead Zone Viper.
Sham.
Correct. John. Operation Demon Veil.
Ooh, Demon Veil. I like that. Siege.
Correct. Asif. Operation Vector Glare.
Vector Glare?
Vector Glare.
Really? Sham?
Incorrect. That's real.
What?
Oh, no.
Vector Glare? Who greenlit Vector Glare? Those two words don't even make sense. Anyway.
TJ. Operation Ironclad Sightlines.
That's way too complicated to be fake. I'm gonna say Siege.
Incorrect. John.
Wow.
Operation Brutal Swarm.
Sightlines?
Brutal Swarm?
Yes.
I like that. I'm going to go Siege, baby.
Correct. Asif. Operation Solar Raid.
Siege.
Correct. TJ. Operation Rapture's Abyss.
Sham.
Correct. John. Operation Commanding Force.
It's a little milk toast, isn't it? I'm going to say Sham, baby.
Incorrect.
Oh, it was so plain.
I mean, Vector Glare as well.
Asif. Operation Heavy Metal.
God, that sounds real. That sounds like you would fake me out. Sham.
Incorrect.
I tricked myself.
TJ, Operation Ezekiel.
Siege.
Incorrect. John, Operation Deep Freeze.
Ooh, Deep Freeze. That sounds like a siege.
Correct. Asif, Operation Steel Storm Rising.
Oh, brother.
A siege?
Incorrect.
Ah!
TJ. TJ,
I swear to God, I have captured like 80% of these in trailer form and uploaded them, and I still can't remember them.
You're doing great.
It's like ChatGPT came up with these.
You wish.
I mean the Ubisoft ones. I mean the Ubisoft ones. Like, clearly you made up yours, but like vector glare. Sorry.
TJ, Operation Deadly Omen.
Siege.
Correct. John,
Yay.
Operation Warlord Inferno.
Damn.
Correct. Asif, Operation New Blood.
Siege.
Correct. TJ, Operation Spectre Fang.
Sham.
Correct.
Yay.
John, Operation Collision Point.
That is a siege.
Correct. Asif, Operation Prep Phase.
Siege.
Correct. TJ, Operation Grim Havoc.
Siege.
Incorrect.
Dang.
John, Operation Twin Shells.
That is siege.
Correct. Asif, your final question.
Oh, thank God.
Operation Berserker's Fury.
Siege.
Incorrect. TJ, your final question. Operation Dread Factor.
Siege.
Correct. John,
Yeah.
your final question. Operation Wraith's Hunger.
That's a shammy.
Correct. The final tally.
Dead last.
With 8 points, Asif Khan.
Yeah.
With 9 points, TJ Denzer.
Oh, shit.
And with 13.
Wow.
Macaroni.
With
Macaroni.
13 points, John Benjamin. Congratulations.
I did it.
That had to
Huge
be
W.
the tormenting game I've ever had on this podcast because I played Rainbow Six Siege from the day it came out to probably, I think it had to be like season 6 or 7.
I
And
tell you, I quite like that game.
It's good.
Like every
It's a good
one of the
game.
every one of the expansions and operations I remembered kept going to either Asif or John.
And like between you and I, TJ, though, like you've probably written up like, I don't know, 20 of these, and I've definitely captured like 80% of these trailers. So
Yeah.
it shows you how like it goes in one year, out the other for me. I'm like
Fellas, you
what's
just
the
have
name
to
of the-
play this game a little bit more, like I did, to know about
John's a diehard.
Phantom Desert or whatever. Yeah,
Vector
huge.
glare.
Vector Glare.
If I ever get
Rolls
to
off
interview
the
these
tongue.
devs, I'm just gonna be like, Vector glare, really?
Just
Yeah.
a laundry list of cool song titles I was writing in my high school freshman notebook.
Yeah, very emo. What was what Joe? What was the most ridiculous one? Just you
God,
have them all in front of you. Oh, that's nuts.
The most ridiculous one that I wrote?
No, the real one, the most ridiculous real one.
Heavy Metal was pretty stupid. I think Operation Prep Phase is the biggest pancake of a DLC I can think of.
I remember that one though.
Hey,
that
kids.
That one stuck out in my brain. I was like, "Yep, that's
Yeah.
right." I was
Hey,
like,
man,
"Who can
that
forget
gets-
Operation Prep Phase?"
Here we have a
Like
brand new season of
$7.99.
just getting ready. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Let's fork over those PlayStation points.
Well, good game, Joe. I like that. And congratulations, John.
Operation
Thanks.
Grocery List.
Operation Grocery List.
Operation Deli Section. Okay, that does it for Operation Siege or Sham. Congrats, John. We're going to head over to story time after a quick break.
We'll be right back with story time, so stay tuned. Welcome to Storytime. Let's dive into the latest stories from the past week. We have sent 4 people to GDC this week. So we have Greg out there grabbing videos. You can check him out on all the platforms. A lot of indie games that we're getting hands-on interviews with. But we also did a lot of previews. So I'm just going to mention the games that we were previewing and go read the previews because we don't have time. We can't talk about everything that's on this rundown. FBC Firebreak wants players to have fun without feeling like they got a second job. This is the Remedy upcoming co-op game. So Donovan got hands-on with it. Remedy's been making some absolute bangers, with Control and everything else they've done. So this is going to be, I think it's the first time we've had hands-on with it. So if you want to check out more, Donovan has you covered. Winter Burrow finds coziness in the survival genre, also written by Donovan. Interesting art style to this. You're like a little, is that a mouse? Yeah,
can't tell.
Little mouse in the wilderness. Cute. But it also has like survival elements to it. Out of Sight is a second-person horror game, says
What
Nick
does that mean?
Tan.
Like, what does second person mean in literature? I actually don't know.
Isn't it everything's written from the eye perspective? Or
how is that not first person? I don't actually know.
Second person?
Sorry, I should be. I'm the producer. I should know.
Yeah, shouldn't you know this?
Quickly.
See.
The point of view where the narrator directly addresses the reader.
Right. Yeah, the narrator's talking about you. Sorry. But you are like the person driving the thing is. It's just that there's someone narrating your life, basically. Have you seen Stranger Than Fiction?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be an example of like a second person story.
Good example.
Yeah. Will Ferrell is the main character, but you're not hearing the story from his perspective. That's a great movie.
That is a great movie.
Clair Obscur Expedition 33 blends turn-based and real-time combat to improve immersion. It's a cool looking, like action RPG kind of looking
turn-based
game. Donovan also got hands-on with this. He's been cranking out the previews. The finals added a team deathmatch mode. Ozzy got hands-on with that. It's the most interested I am in the finals because I prefer deathmatch to these other
same
things. So I'm interested. I like that. I like the mechanics they have in the finals. So I'm interested. I have this game downloaded. I'm going to try it. You got to team up with Sam one of these days because he's real good at it. The only problem is when you team up with Sam, you have someone in Oceania that you're playing with. So it's like his ping goes to 200 and
right.
Whatever. Nick Tan got hands on with 2 a T, John, which is that the game from the new Katamari studio, Uvala, I believe is what they're called. He said it's a game that finds humor in having a disability. So that's pretty cool. That's not an easy topic to address, but I could see the lighthearted nature of that game being good, or that studio and that developer working. I'm interested in that. I whatever they're doing, I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So check out Nick's preview there. Nick also previewed the Knightling, which is a classic platformer with a lot of heart. It's like a 3D adventure game kind of looking thing. You have a sentient shield, so that's going to be like a lot of your gameplay mechanics are built off of that. You can shield surf, so some things that you would have experienced in like a Zelda game are here. It looks cute, looks nice.
Yeah.
Art style's kind of a little dated, but whatever. It has a lot of, it looks like a Zelda game. Like you have a glider and you have a shield and stuff like that.
Right.
Hero's Hand looks kind of cool. It combines Balatro, Slay the Spire, and Puzzle Quest. So we're entering this new world of, card games that do other stuff. I think people are going to be more open to that stuff, given the success of Balatro, and also not just like the financial success, the critical success. It got Game of the Year here. I believe PC Gamer gave it Game of the Year, and we just got the GDC, or the Game Developers Choice Awards, and Balatro cleaned up there as well at GDC. So congratulations to Local Thunk and PlayStack on their continued success. This is cool. Ozzy wrote this preview of a game called Is This Seat Taken? It's a puzzle game about seating charts, John. Like that.
Okay.
It's like
about seating charts, like for a wedding.
Like,
oh, okay.
Yeah, like you're at a wedding. You're like, where are they going to sit at the wedding? Where are they going to sit at the church? Where are they going to sit in the bus? Like it's just.
That's pretty funny. That's cool.
I think that's a novel idea. I think that's a cool idea.
That is cool.
It's
different.
Very cute art style. Check out the preview on shacknews.com. So that was Previewza, which is a preview palooza brought to you by Shacknewsa from your friends. On to Reviewza. We already talked about Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. TJ really liked it. 9 out of 10. Go check it out, especially if you never got to play it on the Wii U. And yeah, check out our videos. We have a pretty funny YouTube short where TJ flirts with an NPC named Elma and gets completely shut down. Like, she suggests that TJ might have like brain damage from the crash of the spaceship.
It's pretty brutal.
It's really good. The game, yeah, we didn't really mention it. It's written pretty well too. But yeah, so Xenoblade, good. We heard John talking about Assassin's Creed. We had Aidan O'Brien, Scanner Barkley, who's mainly writing guides for us. But we decided to give Bill Lavoie a break from the Assassin's Creed franchise. He has reviewed it for us, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 consecutive games. And Bill he's been reviewing other stuff. You know, he reviewed Monster Hunter, Wilds. He's reviewed Civ 7. Those are some like very, very big games that take a lot of time. And he's also our managing editor. So wanted to give Bill a break. Gave Aidan a chance here. He really likes it. Gave it an 8 out of 10. Yeah, he noted, he mentioned the same things you were mentioning, John, like the characters are pretty interesting. The world is beautiful. Combat is fun. Contrasting combat styles allow you to take a break from one to explore the other. I think that's the thing that I find most interesting, is that you're going to be able to play as 2 characters, one being a samurai, one being a shinobi. I think that's cool. It says the transmog system is easy, so you can look your best. And the game ran very smoothly for him on PC. I'm hearing that a lot, that it runs well on PC and it's scalable. So that's always a good thing. The cons were, some pretty obvious asset reuse, from structures to enemy camp layouts. Like, yeah, that's been a problem in Ubisoft games for a while. It's also just kind of a practice in the games industry at this point. I've seen people complain about the reuse of the map in Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, and I'm like, okay. They did that with Majora's Mask, and I think it was okay there too. Awkward traversal at times, he said. Reasonably rare animation issues, but enough to worth mentioning. So it's, even though it's visually stunning, there are some like glitchy animations here and there, which it wouldn't be a Ubisoft game without some level of jank. But it does seem like this doesn't have a whole lot of that. He said the voice acting in the NPCs was occasionally a little weak, and he said, I think you kind of echoed this, you may not have played it as long as him yet, but he said it doesn't really push the series forward in an exciting way, John. I think you were kind of, you had a similar sentiment.
It's a very normal game. And Assassin's Creed doesn't, it started, I mean, it's a hit because it didn't start that way, right? Mm-hmm. It was like interesting.
Yeah, it was different.
Very Lost and Severance. And if you think about the prestige TV that is out there, or that was out there, there's always a mystery. And I think here there's no mystery.
Yeah. But you got an 8 out of 10. So good. Like good work, Ubisoft. Good. Yeah. Like we mentioned, it's selling well. So congratulations to Ubisoft.
Yeah, this is no Skull and Bones.
So we were talking about the death of, Spectre Divide last week. I hate to start a review talking like this, but FragPunk seems like next up. It's a card-based live service first-person shooter game with a bunch of neon characters, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Got a 6 out of 10 from Josh Broadwell. Says the hero design is varied and good. It has some standout maps. The cards are fun they're a fun if underused gimmick. He said the main mode is too short. Other modes are too long. Unclear progression and overwhelming menus, and Outbreak mode is atrocious. Yeah. So 6 out of 10 from Shack News. That is not a ringing endorsement. And there's just a lot of these games coming out. And then it wouldn't be a Reviewza without Lucas White reviewing something from Japan. Atelier Yumia, The Alchemist of Memories, and the Envisioned Land. Lucas called it video game soup, and gave it a 7 out of 10. He said there's a lot of video game here. The storytelling is pretty unsatisfying. So he said, this is kind of weird. As a pro, he said, so much video game packed into this bad boy. As a con, he said, perhaps too much video game. lack of focus and polish. That's the delicate balance that RPGs and these larger games have to deal with. He said it does have a messy UI, and onboarding is a little slow as a result. But he did highlight that the game has a wall jumping motorcycle, and I think that's important.
Wow.
So his review is a wild ride, as I'd say all of his are. So check it out. He gave it a 7 out of 10, but if you need to read more, please do at shacknews.com. That was Reviewza, which is a Reviews Palooza by Shack News. On to Newsa. Newsa. We don't have a whole lot of Newsa here because I think we've kind of spread it out, but this just made me think of old times, John. The Seattle Mariners have teamed up with Nintendo to rep Nintendo's brand at home and the Switch 2 on their away jerseys.
Oh, funny.
That's kind of cool.
That's cool.
It harkens back to the days of Ken Griffey's baseball for SNES.
Sure.
Back when Nintendo actually did own the Seattle Mariners. Also, do you see Boston Celtics sold for over $6 billion today?
Unbelievable.
That seems a bit high. But
I mean,
who knows?
It is high, but that's 18 championships, right?
Yeah, and it's also a Boston fan who bought it, so I guess they may have put the screws to him because they knew he wanted it, kind of thing. But also, the growth in sports broadcasting and all the money coming that way, it makes sense.
The gambling.
Oh, that too, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so that's just an aside. Speaking of money in gaming and sports gaming, EA Sports College Football 26 is increasing their name, image, and likeness payouts, NIL, to $1,500 per athlete. That's cool, because not every one of these athletes has a ton of money coming their way. Everyone likes to talk about the wide receivers or the quarterbacks at like University of Texas or Ohio State, right? Those guys are getting paid $3 million to play college football now. A lot of these guys may not even go pro. So I think it's good that EA is doing this. I think if they bumped it from 500 to 1,500 in one season, it probably means they could bump it again. But yeah, good on them. Already planning college football 26 and paying athletes more for using their likenesses. That's a good thing. And then at GDC, John, did you ever go to this thing, the Game Developers Choice Awards or the IGF?
I don't go to the award shows. No. Yeah, I see some of the folks, and look, it's very nice,
No, for sure.
But I don't go.
We this is a little behind the curtain for folks at home, but like we used to attend it as press, and there would be a this back area that after award winners would kind of come through, and there'd be like a media row. They got rid of that entirely and just said IGN gets to interview everyone instead. So ever since that happened, we have stopped attending this thing. But some of my favorite interviews have come at this. Like I interviewed Maddie Thorson about Celeste when they won for, I think it was like Breakthrough or whatever. I can't remember what they won, but they won several things. And that's like the one interview I have with Maddie, and just an amazing developer. And it was just cool to hear how humble they were even after the success of Celeste. I've gotten to interview a lot of people at that thing. So it's disappointing to see where it is now, but cool things are still happening in games. Happy to see people win. Best student game winner went to Slot Waste. We got a lot of indie games at the IGF, got their flowers. Game of the year went to Balatro. Best debut went to Balatro. Best design went to Balatro. Innovation award went to Balatro.
Sheesh.
Yeah, it was cleaning up, man. Best narrative winner went to Metaphor. Best technology went to Astrobot. Best visual art went to Black Myth Wukong. Social impact went to Life is Strange Double Exposure. The audience award went to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Joe, your fave?
My favorite game.
Pioneer award went to Lucas Pope. And the Lifetime Achievement award went to Sam Lake. And like I mentioned, Game of the Year, also Balatro. So congratulations to all the winners. Congratulations to IGN on monopolizing the coverage of that. Also at GDC, Metaphor Refantasio had a talk where the developer explains why Atlus games are hard. Donovan attended a few talks at GDC. This is Donovan's first GDC. So when I sent him out there, I was like, dude, look at the schedule, find what talks are going on, and attend the ones that you're interested in. Because I think it's
great advice. GDC is like amazing for that kind of thing. Because you get all these kinds of stories. So curious to see what Donovan found out.
So yeah, he reviewed it. But yeah, there's a quote from the dev. He said, "On the internet, some players may call us sadists or even the devil." He said, acknowledging the reputation that Atlus RPGs are difficult. on the slideshow, he wrote that players need to find battles so difficult that they can't be cleared without the rewards from daily activities. Otherwise, they'll skip the other parts of the game. So he went on to say that it's the death of the game when players don't have to think about what they're doing. It's like the minute that your head, like, you kind of can check out and you kind of almost are on auto mode, it's like they view that as failure.
That's 100% what happened to me in Persona 5. I think we talked about like 6 months ago. So
yeah.
It's ironic that, that there's
at least he's aware of it.
Oh, right? Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I thought that was cool. And yeah, like, I looked back to my first GDC, John, and I remember, like, I think I was with gamesindustry.biz at the time, and like, I didn't really have any appointments, so I sat in there and just watched all these great talks, and you get really in-depth deep dives from developers about, you know, all sorts of cool stuff. So yeah, I think that was cool. Yeah, metaphor, that makes a lot of sense, but I think it's good that they acknowledge that, but to your point, Joe, I think that they still have a ways to go before they nail that. Nightdive Studios is out here just doing stuff. I don't know how else to describe them now. They're bringing I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream to consoles. This is like one of the weirder PC games that they have in their portfolio, I guess. So yeah, you get a console port to this really weird game.
Probably one of the creepiest point and clicks of all time.
Yes.
Like, the story that it's based on is like so horrifically dystopian. It's nightmare fuel.
I agree. Speaking of nightmare fuel, Silent Hill F takes the series to Japan for a new horror adventure. We're getting a new Silent Hill game. How about that? All right. On the back of Silent Hill 2 Remake. Hey guys, Konami figured out that people like their video games. Right. Maybe not they don't like them making their games, but they like other people making games with their IP, you know? So this is another one of these. This is Neobards Entertainment is making this, right, TJ? Yeah.
My main question right away was, they said it's in Japan, is why is it called Silent Hill?
That's a really good point. Yeah, that's a good question.
Like, how do they get there? Is it like, does Silent Hill just kind of move? Does it shift locations, or what's the lore there? I need to know.
Have you guys watched Doom Patrol?
No.
Oh man, there's that town in it. Have you, TJ?
I haven't had a chance to see it.
Okay, never mind. There's a location in that story that moves, so maybe it's like that. But yeah, that's a really good point. It's supposed to be the same town. How the hell did it get to Japan? Maybe that's where the F comes in. We'll just have to find out. But yeah, we enjoyed we enjoyed Silent Hill 2 Remake last year, and interested to see what Silent Hill F turns into. But just congratulations to Konami on making games that aren't pachinko machines. I'm proud of you guys.
The new game does look like it's going to be pretty terrifying too. Like, they showed some of the concepts, which, like, it does look like a Silent Hill game in the way of, like, person dealing with emotional trauma in this foggy town that eventually erupts into just a cacophony of horrific sights and monsters. Yeah. It's looking like something that I want to play. Very interesting setup, though.
Yeah. But yeah, that's Newsa, the News Palooza from Shaq Newsa. On to Industruza, which is our last Uza of the entire Shuza show. Whatever, I'm just making up words now.
Nice.
Very good. We cut this from the cold open because we had to talk about Japanese holidays, but it's still important enough to talk about here. This is the Taco Bell news that I wanted to tell you, John. Taco Bell parent company Yum Brands has partnered with NVIDIA to help integrate AI to every part of their business. So the store, the management, and the actual production of the food. So really? it is a partnership between NVIDIA and Taco Bell to probably further automate the store, right? But also maybe make it more consistent and maybe cut out some of the red tape from having so many managers and general managers and stuff.
Man, I don't know. Yeah, I get it. Red tape is like, I don't know. It's Taco Bell. It's like jobs. I don't know. It's weird. Good for NVIDIA. That's why
it's why we're reporting on it though, John, because like this is a trend. Like,
oh yeah, for sure. This is why Doge is a thing, right? I mean, this is absolutely like their hope is that AI will come to the rescue soon enough. It's just too early. It
and
blows.
Speaking of AI coming to the rescue, NVIDIA and GM have partnered, and it's similar, where it's not just for the driverless car technology. NVIDIA wants to help them build a new factory based on AI optimization.
That's interesting, because I think there's a lot of automation in those cars, and also those car companies. There's such garbage right now with software. So
I think NVIDIA being involved is a good thing.
It is a good thing on that.
I think GM needs all the help they can get. It's a horribly run company, to your point. So I would prefer an AI CEO to whoever's running GM right now. And I don't know where the magical funding will come for their next factory build, but if it does, I hope it is efficient. I think the challenge that all these gas-powered companies, the companies who have factories that build combustion engines, I think they all face this challenge, is it's very hard to retrofit those factories into either a high-tech driverless car build-out or an electric vehicle build-out. And I know that they go hand in hand a lot of the time, but these next-generation vehicles need next-generation factories, or at least they need to gut existing factories, and then that's a whole lot of capital losses they take. It's a very interesting time in the American automobile industry, and GM is still at the center of it, thanks to multiple bailouts. Speaking of electric vehicles, Tesla recalls 46,000 Cybertrucks due to the exterior panels of the vehicles just falling off due to poor gluing of things. This is the first major hardware recall that they've had to do with the Cybertruck. Oh, I shouldn't say that. The gas pedal slipping off and almost killing people. That was also problematic around the launch of the product. This is the worst Tesla by far. The Model Y, probably the best one. 3 is excellent. S is good. Back in the day, my Model X, that was the shitty Tesla, because it had stupid doors. It looked weird. It kind of looked like an Aztec from behind. But now we have this dumpster on wheels to point and laugh at. I'm not surprised. Anyone who bought a Cybertruck, you should have known what you were getting. It's
tough, man. It's tough. I think Cybertruck is very tough for. You should have known, I guess. It's early
adopting that is a danger. I'm an early adopter.
Yeah.
I was an early adopter of the S.
So you know how it feels, right? And that's the thing.
You spend a lot of money. You work hard for this money. You spend a lot of money. You buy something that's approaching $100,000, and then it's shitty.
Well, also because that there are people who, and this was prior to Musk becoming as divisive as he is, Cybertruck was announced a long time ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before he became...
It was honestly the canary in the coal mine, though. But I was like, wait, he thinks this is a good idea? He thinks truck owners are going to buy this? I did a live stream reaction to the reveal of it, and I was super what the fuck is he doing?
Did you put a reserve on one? A reservation on one?
They made me. It was when we were doing the Tesla podcast.
Oh, my Lord.
The other people on the Tesla podcast, Adam and Tony and Sarah, they're like, come on, it's only $400. I was like, fine. So I did it.
I will say, and with, shame or no shame or whatever, I did put a reservation in, not because I liked it, but thinking that, because it was at that night that whatever, it was $100, fully refundable, whatever. And I obviously I canceled it. But, I don't know. I just feel like I get why you, does this sound shitty? I get why people will vandalize and do whatever to the dealerships and whatever, even though that's classic liberal shit. That I'm a liberal, I feel like I can say this until liberals cancel me. But of course, it's classic liberal shit where we're going to vandalize the EV charging station that's used not only by Tesla, but every other EV, which happens to be a left-wing thing. That's a very progressive technology, I think. But what does suck is when you're doing that to Joe Schmo's car or, come on, man. Half of these people, literally, I was one of them until a couple weeks ago. Half of these people, they bought it on the hope that Tesla is going to be this green company. And
it is
a shitty situation, man.
It is a green company.
It is.
Yeah, a lot of those superchargers are solar powered. A lot of a lot of their factories are solar powered. They power entire municipalities with their battery packs.
You gotta, and I don't like Musk at all, but like it's not like he didn't do anything for Tesla, right? I mean, I think the strategy of superchargers and why be the car company only when we could be the gas station also, essentially.
I mean, you have the email from me when I was an investment advisor, like when we laid out our long thesis on Tesla, and it all played out. It took like 10 years. I definitely didn't have the pivot to being a Nazi in there.
That's the thing.
I did not call that. Although I did have it as a risk when we had this billionaire who was from South Africa. I was like, I don't know. But
well, I didn't see it coming, man.
I was a little worried about that early on, to be honest, because I'm like, he grew up in apartheid South Africa. That's a minus on my list.
But y'all are skirting like some very important things. It's like Elon Musk wasn't always a known horrible person. Correct. And like Tesla has spent a long time building trust in their product and innovating to a point. Like there's good products at that company.
There's 80,000 people who work for Tesla.
There's good products, good people, but
there's good people who work at Tesla.
And I don't like that
they're being put in danger by their CEO.
And to that extent, like to the people that are vandalizing other people's Teslas, like people still buy Nestle products and they sell bottled water, which is extremely problematic.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, they sold off their bottled water division, but they still own the reservoirs because they're dicks.
And so,
you know what? I'm going to throw this out here because we're talking about GM just now. Where was the outrage when they got bailed out while everyone was getting foreclosed on?
Yeah.
Why are we just okay with bailing out shitty companies? Like, why didn't we set GMs on fire? Is it because Mary Barra didn't give the Zig Heil?
That's the Nazi thing, man.
I agree, but like, you know what I don't like? Like, let capitalism be capitalism. Like, let us boycott Tesla. By all means, everyone should boycott Tesla if you do not agree with Elon Musk, and if you want him out of that company, you should boycott them. I'm boycotting them. I know, John, you are. Like, everyone here probably is. But, like, this outrage that because he's so horrible that we're going to attack other innocent people, that's the bridge that I'm not going to walk across.
It's rough, yeah.
And yes, I have a Tesla in my garage right now, and please don't set my house on fire. But like, I get the outrage. I think it's misplaced, and it's the people truly to the left of the Democratic Party are a little less violent than the people that are closer to the center, in my opinion. Because
oh man, I don't know. That's tough to tell anything.
I don't know where this outrage is coming from. But, like, all I'm saying is that I know people who are nonviolent that are on the left. And there are ways to protest Tesla that do not involve endangering average Americans. Like, you're not hurting Elon Musk. You're not hurt. But before we end this, but, like, there's a narrative that's being spun around the world right now on Twitter, on LinkedIn, or I don't know, Google's Plus or whatever. I don't know where the fuck people talk about this shit. Probably on Twitter. That if Tesla goes below a certain share price, that Elon Musk will somehow magically default on his Twitter debt. That's so fundamentally wrong. Like, just Twitter yesterday, guys. I don't even call it X. Twitter yesterday raised $1 billion in funding. Yesterday. And it was at a $44 billion valuation.
Wow. Really? Oh, crazy.
Yeah, John. No one's talking about that.
No, I didn't know it.
Because you know why? No one wants to admit that they're wrong. It doesn't matter where Tesla goes. Tesla could go to zero and Twitter will still exist because Twitter's debt is collateralized by fucking Twitter. They have $13 billion in debt that they issued 2 or 3 years ago. They just got valued at $44 billion, guys. Do the math. They have more equity than they do debt. And Elon's equity in Tesla has nothing to do with this. If for a moment in time they considered it, the bankers considered having him use Tesla as his collateral. He changed his mind and they went a different route. But no one wants to look at that nuance. They just want to think Tesla share price go down, Elon sell Twitter. That's not how it's going to work. He proved last year the value of Twitter. He rigged the election He bought the election for Donald Trump, and he used Twitter to amplify the spread of misinformation. His shareholders liked that. They're happy. His company went up in value as a result of all of that. So all I'm saying is this idea that if you attack Tesla enough, or if Tesla goes to zero, that we all get Twitter back, that's not what's going to fucking happen. If anything, he's going to be even more focused on Twitter. God help us. But like, all I'm saying is that just do a little fucking fact checking when you see this shit. But I don't know if you guys saw it on Blue Sky or wherever the fuck else people are talking. The narrative all week was, I saw it was like 116 per share. If it gets below 116 per share, he's going to default on his debt. No, the fuck he isn't. Not to mention, he's actually got Twitter running at break even right now, which means that like, it's more like, I fucking hate him. But I was a Twitter shareholder before he bought the company. I understood the economics of Twitter. They were losing money when he bought them. That's why they were in the shit. They're now break even. Like, it's still worth less than he paid for it. He paid $54 billion, so he's still down $10 billion. But I think at the bottom of the valuation, it was closer to $20 billion about a year and a half ago. So it's almost doubled from the bottom. So what caused that? Him buying the election. So he's like proved the value of Twitter. And you have to look at his fellow investors. It's like the all-star lineup of despots and terrible people. Like the worst people on Wall Street, the worst people in Silicon Valley, the worst Saudi money you can imagine, the UAE, Russians. Like it's the all-star cast of America's rivals. That's who owns shares in Tesla. Or sorry, not Tesla, in Twitter. But that has nothing to do with Tesla. So just, sorry I had to rant about that, but like, please, just use logic. And actually fact check before you share something. Because you look like a fucking idiot. I'm talking to everyone on Twitter when I say that. And it's like, all these people, John, who were so wrong about Twitter for fucking, about Tesla for fucking 10 years. They all now, you have to listen to me. It's like, I know the fundamentals of Tesla all of a sudden. No, the fuck you don't. You were wrong about it from when Model S shipped to when Model Y shipped. You were perma-bear from fucking $2 to $450. But now I'm going to listen to you? Fuck that. And I'm a bull that turned into a bear. Listen to me. And I'm not like, I'm so important. No, I'm just saying like facts are important. And you're going to get killed if you try to short Tesla. Because at some point, you know what's going to happen. They're going to do a buyback. Guaranteed. It'll be $10 billion and it'll probably happen around 100 a share. So like, yeah, it's still got ways to go down. But like this idea that like we're all going to band together and short Tesla to zero. Yeah, how'd that work out for the GameStop shareholders that were trying to take it to the moon? Yeah. I think we kind of proved that Wall Street's a little more powerful than humanity. And I hate saying that because it fucking pisses me off that we lost that battle at GameStop. But don't be a hero in this economy, in this stock market. You'll get killed. On to better news. US and Canadian video game workers have launched a union with the Communications Workers of America. So they said, our mission is to take back our lives, our labor, and our passion from those who treat us like replaceable cogs, to empower our fellow workers, to link arms with the laid off, with the freelancer, with the disillusioned contractor, and with the disenfranchised and the marginalized, with the workers laboring invisibly to keep this industry afloat. We are going to create a game industry that works for us, one that nourishes this talent and invests in this future, rather than constantly seeking short-term profits. We are the ones that make games, so we must be the ones that set the terms of how we work. I approve of that message.
It's great.
But I think it's going to be a tall task. I do think that some of the better game developers do treat their people better and try to keep teams together. And you've seen that with Nintendo or even with Larian Studios. Like, good on workers having more rights, and good luck to everyone. I hope this continues in the tech industry because tech workers are treated like disposable people. And we'll see where it goes. But I thought that was a cool announcement coming out of GDC. And then real quick, while we have Tesla on the ropes, BYD, who's going to take over the world of electric vehicles pretty soon, has charging tech that is twice as fast as Tesla's newest superchargers. So they have about 4,000 charging stations across China right now. They're starting to sell BYD in Japan, and it's already being sold over there in Europe, where we know demand for Tesla has fallen off a cliff. That's the interesting thing, though. It's not like all of us suddenly quit caring about EVs. Like, John, you replaced your EV with an EV. It's just a different company. because you like electric vehicles. Like there's a utility to them, and there's actually cost savings to them. But anyway, shout out to Chinese-owned BYD.
BYD, I mean, it's super. I mean, that is like a big breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and just with the tariffs and everything, and tariffs were going to happen. I mean, they always have, that's why we don't have Chinese cars, and that was before Trump, and that was, you know,
that was a Biden
Trump. I mean, that was during Biden too, so it's not like it's a Trump thing, but
no,
we're missing out on some like pretty awesome technology.
Yeah, BYD, they're over there in Australia now. They're killing it in China. They're moving into Japan. I'm sure they're going to move into India soon. India's car market is very hard to crack into because India kind of has that India first thing where you have to build stuff in their country. But yeah, keep your eye on BYD, man. They're doing cool stuff. That's it. We did it. Oh my God. We have community notes. We have one community note before we go. We got questions and comments from the Shack News community, which you can join by heading over to shacknews.com/chatty or by emailing us at, I don't know, tj.denzer@shacknews.com. We have a big one here. It's Erica's, Joe's significant other, her reaction to my top 10 Madonna songs. Here we go. So just to refresh people's mind at home, here are my top 10 Madonna songs if you missed that chatty thread. Number 10, Material Girl. 9, Frozen. 8, Get Into the Groove. 7, Hung Up. 6, Lucky Star. 5, Vogue. 4, Express Yourself. 3, Justify My Love. 2, La Isla Bonita. And 1, Like a Prayer. So here's what Erica had to say. Mostly good. I don't like numbers 3 and 2. Wow. Like, actively turn them off when they come on? Wow. Wow, Erica. Wow. So what happened to her where she hates La Isla Bonita? Something had to have happened.
It's tied
she
to
has a bad memory attached to that song.
Yeah.
Because there's no... Do you guys like that song?
I don't even know that song.
I was going to say, I thought that's a pretty good song.
I think it's a great song.
And it's not overplayed.
Not at all.
I don't think.
Her vocals are outstanding on it. It's actually a very good song. Like, the beat behind it. I don't know. Anyway, otherwise good. She said, Borderline and Ray of Light are definitely in my top 10. That's
Ray
funny.
Light is very good, though. Come on.
That's funny, Joe, because both of those were in my top 10 and they had to get scooted out. When I came across Frozen and I was like, oh God, I forgot about this song. And then I was like, I was on the line about Material Girl because like I saw in an interview that she hates that song. Like Madonna herself hates the song Material Girl.
Understandably, it's insufferable.
But it's also like, it's an earworm. You know what I mean? Like, even if you don't like it, it'll fucking live in your brain if you hear it.
Certainly, yes.
So I was like, I struggled with 10 and 9, and I did have Ray of Light at 9, and I had Borderline at 10 originally. So I feel like we're pretty close. I don't know what happened.
Minor discrepancies, I'd say, yeah.
I don't know what happened where she doesn't like La Isla Bonita. I can understand not liking Justify My Love, because that was like, Madonna went like super slutty, that era. But I thought, I thought it was cool. It was like female empowerment and stuff like that. But, there was that Human Nature video, which was really like racy. She was like in that era.
Right.
And then she mentioned most of his picks and mine are from Immaculate Collection, her best of album. Well, yeah, duh. That'll happen.
Well, you could feasibly have a top 10 of deep cuts. That's But
why? She's a pop star. You know what I mean? Right. It's not like, here's Madonna's top 10 deep cuts. It's like, no. Because you know what I found when I was doing this? Like, no one ever mentioned? Music. That song sucks. Holy crap.
Song too, yeah.
It was very popular, John. But I went back and I watched that music video.
So good.
Ali G, baby.
It's so bad.
That was the introduction of Ali G to
He's like
America.
Hitting on her and like just it's inappropriate. Like, it's just bad. It was creepy. It was creepy and awkward back then because he was creepy, man. Like
I'm not saying he wasn't. Yeah,
that character was skeezy and creepy, and like it is juxtaposition to him and Madonna in that video. I'm like, wow, I hate this song. I don't think I originally felt that way about it because, like to your point, John, it was everywhere. It was everywhere. I did not like it, but Ali G was interesting to me. He was,
and when Ali G is like the interesting part of a song, Yeah, the song's probably not great. Yeah,
that's what I was getting at. Yeah. When you have to shove a gimmick like that into your music video, I don't know. Anyway, but I appreciate Erica her feedback. I will take that into consideration. Just for the folks here who made it to this far into the podcast, my next list, I'm ranking Bonnie Tyler's music.
Okay.
So
wow,
holding out for a hero, Total Eclipse of the Heart, a lot of really good songs.
I'll be making my top 10 Bonnie Hunt list.
All right. Will you post it to the chatty like I've been doing?
Sure.
Okay. Join me. But yeah, that'll do it. Haas Mamu did not say anything this week. Wow.
He may have, but I may have missed it.
I don't know what he would have. What could he have possibly said? Did we just miss him entirely?
I think I did miss it. I'm already pulling it up. Hang on.
Okay. I was like, how can we not have a Haas Mamu corner?
All right, I got it. Haas Mamu corner. We also have a comment from Denny Von Doom. Good stuff in this one. Oh. Haas Mamu says, ASMR unboxing with audio description. John kills the cold opening.
That was your Sega unboxing, John. The little arcade cabinet.
Oh, wait. What was that?
Your unboxing at the cold open last week.
Yeah.
Haas Mamu was praising it.
Oh, good. There you go. Thank you. I mean,
I think he's the perfect market for ASMR blind, only audio only unboxings.
Hey, we're good. I will unbox. Yeah, I will unbox. I will expense everything to the podcast. Joe, I will send receipts your way, and
they'll be all offset by our giant revenue stream from Sham together.
Hey, we're good. But yeah, good.
Yeah. Nice. What did Denny say? Denny said something?
Denny Von Doom, good stuff in this one.
Nice. Cool. Awesome. So that's going to do it for the show. Subscribe on your podcast app of choice. Follow us on social media. We're on Blue Sky. I hear it's a hot ticket these days, so we're over there. We have videos approaching 1 million views on TikTok, so we're still there. Well, that place is TikTok going away?
Apparently.
So while we're there... check out our content. But yeah, if you like vertical video content, all that stuff goes up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts as well. So there's plenty of places to watch that kind of stuff if TikTok does die. But the TikTok algorithm's been pretty good to us. So know, while it's around, we'll continue to share stuff over there. It really does feel like we've built a younger audience over there than most other places. So we do appreciate the folks over there. It's funny, like we have this video I do every Friday for Xur in Destiny 2, like Xur's location and wares. And there's like people who like wait for it every week and they're like, it's finally here. So it's just funny to me that like the first TikTok I ever made was this idea of taking the weekly Xur video and putting DMX music under it. And it originally was Where Does Xur At? And then after Xur moved to a permanent location, we changed it to Xur Gonna Give It To You. So it went from Where the Hood At to X Gonna Give It To You.
That's solid. That's good.
Yeah. If you want to know how to succeed in vertical video content creation, this story should provide little to no information. But it is a nice anecdote about how you can build a community over there. And we appreciate the people over there. We feel bad that, the health of that platform is just kind of being used as a political volleyball these days.
It's being propped up by the latest LeBron James, Michael Jackson mishmash. Have you heard this?
No. What?
The lyrics go a little something like this. They've got Luka, Don, A. Reeves, and then LeBron. And I just want you to know I'm talking about the man on the Lakers. LeBron. Oh, every single video in my feed has that as the background.
I have seen that. I haven't played it.
It kills me. That is my kryptonite.
I'm so proud of my algorithm right now. I'm so proud. I have not seen that. I just keep being fed Dochi anxiety videos, and I'm all for it. She's awesome.
She is great. Great album.
Yeah.
That's it. That's where we wave at the camera and say bye and tell you to go watch that LeBron video on TikTok, apparently.
We're talking about that man on the Lakers.
Yep. The man on the Lakers. My God. I think I have Lakers, the actual word Lakers, blocked on Twitter because I got into trouble with them one Thanksgiving or one Labor Thanksgiving Day. Callback. That's going to do it for today's show. Twitter has always sucked. And that's it.
Wave
Thanks,
at the
guys.
camera.
Thanks, TJ, for joining us. Thanks for reviewing Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. I know that was not an easy task. That's a massive game. And yeah, we'll see you all next week.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Thanks, TJ. Thanks, John. Bye.
Bye.
Shack Together is a Shack News production.
Shack Together is a Shack News production.
Shack Together is a Shack News production.
Shack News is a multimedia company consisting of a variety of entertainment properties, including ShackNews.com, video game and cutting-edge technology coverage with evergreen video, guide, and long-read content, providing readers and viewers with the latest reviews, previews, interviews, and news. Shack News content is readable and viewable at shacknews.com, Facebook, YouTube at Shack News Interviews, and Shack News VODs, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Shack News Media, Twitch, and more. But that's not all. You can play Bubbletron, our first video game. Combine 3 ideas, hit the market, and get your money hat. Bubbletron is a daily game in the style of Wordle, where players can launch a company and see its valuation instantly. Hit that high score and brag to your friends. Visit Bubbletron.com to play. There is no download required, no signups required. But if you are into app downloads, we have the cutest one on the planet. It's called Shack Pets, the ultimate battle for cuteness. Swipe your pets to victory on iOS and Android in this Tinder-like app for pets. Shack News is proud to present a variety of micro products, all available for free at shacknews.com. Cortex is a publishing platform available to all of our users. Shouts is a Twitter replacement in a time where Twitter really needs replacing. And Reader, an RSS reader that won't get shut down by Google anytime soon. You can import YouTube, subreddits, all sorts of cool stuff, even podcast feeds. And lastly, all of our products are completely free to use and play, so if you're a fan of what we're doing and want to support the Shack News ecosystem, head over to shacknews.com/Mercury. Mercury offers subscribers access to exclusive Shack News swag like hoodies and VIP access to our long reads in downloadable format. It's a great way to support us. There's different tiers, and you get a lightning bolt next to your name.